one of the things that we really look at is things that you talk about, social good, right? So I lead our data science, machine intelligence, artificial intelligence, immersive, and open tech agenda for defense and intel. And you're like, well, what does that have to do with social good, right? But one of the things that we actually do, we take a lot of the things that we do and apply it to that, right? So if you're familiar with Kaggle, anybody familiar with Kaggle? Any techie? Okay. So we run the Data Science Bowl for Kaggle, actually, right? And this year we had a $1 million prize purse for a Data Science Bowl, right? And it was really around computer visioning, around how do you create algorithms, right, to detect cancer, right? And so none of these things are really geared towards the traditional youngs doing all this IT stuff for the government. Yes, we are doing that, but really we're doing these things. Last year it was around how do we actually detect heart disease, right? And all these things that really people get so excited about. It's not necessarily just about making money, right? Yes, that's part of it. You got to be in business, but how do you really refocus and shift that energy and really advance and empower? And our purpose statement is empower people to change the world, right? And so I challenge you all to think about that. You got to start with passion. You got to start with purpose. Think about the things that you do. Think about the things you want to do, and drive towards that passion and purpose. And look at ways of how you're doing things today and how you can actually drive things with purpose, right? The other thing that I would really say is, again, start with passion and purpose. But the other thing is, as Asian Americans here, you gotta step out of your comfort zone, right? And if you think about even my bio, people are like, well, how's a guy from the Army wind up in consulting and do all this IT and do data science and artificial intelligence, all that type of stuff? It's because actually my parents said, you should be a doctor or a lawyer, right? And I was like, I am not doing that, right? And it's really about thinking and really pushing yourself to step out of your comfort zone, right? So for me, the comfort zone would have been, hey, I'm going to study hard, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to go to law school, or I'm going to go to Ivy League, all those type of things. And for me, I was like, I'm one of those people that actually go against grain. And so I was like, that's the last thing I want to do. Not to piss off my mom or my dad, but you know what? I'm going to go to West Point. So I went to West Point, served in the Army, got an engineering degree, and they're like, oh my God, you're going to serve in the Army. How are you going to make money and support your family? And then give me money so I could live in a nice house, right, type of stuff. And so that was the first of the whole thing, right? And then after I got out of the Army, because I actually saw 0 Asian generals, right, the whole bamboo ceiling thing, I actually got out into the telecom industry. I actually had a systems engineering degree, so it was actual natural follow-on for me, and it was good timing, the dot-coms, the startups, the telecom, and did all of those things. And after a while, I was like, this is great, but what am I going to do now? Right? And again, going back to bucking the trend, I on paper, I'm dating myself, right? In the 90s, paper multimillionaire, great, what am I going to do next? And then so, luckily, I don't know if it's luckily, but the whole dot-com tanked, right? Telecom tanked, all of that tanked. I was like, oh, I might as well go to consulting, right? That's what everyone else does if they don't know what to do. And I went into consulting, and the same thing there. I thought I was successful in those other areas, but when I got into consulting in Booz and even Deloitte, I'm sorry, not Deloitte, KPMG and Bearing Point, I saw no Asian partners, no Asian managing directors or all that. And so for me, I was like, you know what? I'm going to stick through this, and I'm going to be the first Korean partner of Booz. In over 100 some odd years, there's never been a Korean partner of Booz. Right? I think that's just crazy, right? And so if you look at like the, I think there was a corporate survey done of Fortune 500 companies back in 2015. And out of the Fortune 500, anyone care to guess how many or what percentage of the 100 companies had people of color on their executive team? 12%. 12%, right? Huge amount. Anyone want to guess how many Asians were on the executive team?
2.
It was actually 4. Like 3.8 or something, close to 4, right?
Close enough.
And so when you think about me in the non-traditional lawyer, doctor type of field, right? If you look at the IT field these days, it's filled with nothing but Asians. Booz Allen, right? I was like, I'm gonna stick it in there until I make partners. So there's other Asians, right, who are making their way up. They can see that there's a path, right? And to do that, I think is incredible, right? And you gotta be able to help each other, and you gotta be able to step outside of your comfort and do things that you think go back to your passion, your purpose, right? And look at those things, right? Anybody been to a party or a concert and you see just kind of some random person out on the side just kind of dancing, going crazy, right? Everyone's seen that, right?
Yeah.
And everyone kind of looks over and is like, wow, what a nuts, right? And a lot of times, yes, that person is a nut, but that person is a leader. If you think about it, they don't really care what you think. They're going to do what they believe. They have passion and purpose around. They're going to go and have fun and do those things, right? And a lot of times, if you don't look at it that way, people will see you as a little nut, right? But that doesn't start a movement, right? And as Asians, it's hard for us to be that natural leader. Just not really study hard, work hard. That's what your parents always tell you, right? But what I would also say is it takes a lot of courage, right? Is to be that next person to go out there with that low nut and start dancing, right? And when there's two people out there, okay, they're not a little wacko, and then you bring your friends, right? And then it really becomes a whole bunch of people, and it becomes a movement, right? So I would say, as Asians, if it's a little bit hard for you to step out of that comfort level to be that natural leader, okay, that's okay. Be that person that started that movement. Challenge yourself around purpose and passion, around setting an example for others to emulate, and again, change that demographic and the statistics I said about 4% of Asians on executive boards in Fortune 100 companies. That's just crazy. I think that it has to be more of us, more of you all, to be able to do that. And a key portion of that is networking and relationships. That's always given. You'll hear that at every Asian conference, right? But more importantly, I think it's really about passion, purpose, stepping outside your comfort, and really looking at starting a movement if you're not comfortable being that leader. So you don't have to be the leader if you're not that comfortable, but strive to really start that movement in your organization, in your company, in your secondary life, or people that do all these nonprofits. I mean, there's purpose and reason, and I really advocate that you should all do that. So that's all I have.